Hello, welcome to the Iron Fist. Here we are in a new challenge. If you haven't already guessed, this prison is based around ruling with an iron fist to the prisoners. So no kind of free time, no kind of luxuries, just plain old hard punishment. So the conditions of gameplay are maximum sec only, the largest map, lowest quality of food and quantity, no escapes, no free time, no more than 3 hours a day eating time. That's going to be troublesome. No more than an hour a day shower time. That shouldn't be too hard. Obviously no free time, and 6 hours a day minimum in lockdown. Now that last one shouldn't be too hard, but I'm known for eating my words after I start things. And how do I win this challenge? I need to last 13 days with no problems. Well, actually, hold on. I need to last 13 days with less than 20 guard casualties, including K9 and armed. Now, obviously, no escapes and whatnot, but it doesn't mention anything about prisoner deaths. So I can imagine, let's aim for no more than, or given its continuous intake, I would say no more than 20 prisoner deaths. That sounds fair. No more than 20 prisoner deaths, no more guard casualties, no more K9, armed, anything. Cool. Well, this shall be very, very interesting. I've already gone ahead and done the layout of the prison. I'm not sure how this will work out. I'm doing the same kind of super complex utilities layout I did in the previous prison. I'm going to have one power station designed to control the water pumping station, as well as the all of the cell blocks. Do not cancel those. So, same way as before, if power goes out, I can quickly flick a switch and turn it back on again for the whole area, rather than just have the entire section out. So what do we have in the prison? We have the mighty entrance. So we have, people come in on their trucks, drive in, get dropped off. Then they have to go through these doors, which I may actually change it to they have to go through probably these doors. This bit here is a bit of a staff only kind of. This would be a security room. I'm not sure what that was going to be. I designed this a little while ago. I don't know what that was meant to be. Actually, I think it was part of security, just behind a locked door for like door controls and stuff. This was something, I can't remember. Staff room, I think. It was a staff room, yeah. 2 psychologist officers, because I can have more than one of those. They're not locked to any number. This will be my export zone right next to delivery, so it's going to suck for workers who have to, get the stuff, walk all the way around. But I'm very fond of having one way in, one way out, but I couldn't really work out a way to have visitation going through this this entry, this one-way path, and then into the visitation area here. So I have to design it so visitation get a second entrance through here. So they'll come through a set of locked doors, go through 2 more locked doors, and then 1 more locked door into their visitation area. Now this is a long way off. This is like the last thing I will build if I ever get to that stage. I don't think visitation is really part of a super max, super lockdown prison. So that's still being decided. But I have the room available if I want to build it there. So yeah, there's that bit. Main entrance way. We'll probably have detectors, like metal detectors, like here. Objects here, maybe here, maybe here, and then some dog patrols in there as well. This is the admin area, so they've got the warden, security chief, what's the other guy called? The foreman and the accountant. They all live there on the outside of the prison, so they only have to go, when they're going for staff and whatnot, they'll just have to go in through here, then in through there. These will all be remote doors eventually. When I first start out, it'll just be like a fence around the whole prison, and then this will just be like another fence or something. So the accountant and warden and staff don't have to interact with the prison itself. I may actually make it so they can just cut through there, so they don't have to do any kind of interaction with the prison itself. They'll just go in, pop, 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 their staff room done, sweet, bang, off we go back to our offices. So they'll never have to go into the prison itself to do anything, which then they won't be a security risk, which is good. Which is very good. Down here, given there's going to be no free time, I'm going to be spending most of the time in my prisons working. So we've got these workshops here, all 9 workshops. Reading on the wiki, this is the best size to have them to get the most amount of prisoners per space. So we'll have one here, you get the picture. I made it nice and neat and tidy and left this kind of bit here like that. I may make that a door or something to a staff only area. This will probably be run by its own power supply up here, but again, that's late game. If I get to that point, being continuous intake, I'll probably be focusing more on getting cells set up more so than getting workshops and whatnot. The only thing I haven't planned in this prison yet is a holding cell area. It's the only thing I haven't really considered, which I may actually build a holding cell in probably this first block here, just as like a temporary storage for prisoners. So they'll come in, get stored in here for the meantime, then they'll go into the individual cells later on the track, which in the long run may serve to be better. So if I ever fill up, this prison can hold theoretically 420 prisoners, if I did the math correctly with each individual cell throughout this entire block. Each cell holds 20 prisoners. So I'll probably less than 400, probably at 400 with one being a holding cell, but that's the theory behind this prison if it ever gets to that. Given the challenge requirements, I doubt I will see past day maybe 5 or 6. Given how crazy MaxSec are at solving their needs, and with snitches coming in, I have no kind of protected custody for them in this prison. There wasn't enough area, or there wasn't enough kind of security in place so I can have them separate from the prison. If it wasn't continuous intake, I would change a few things around so I can have its own separate area, but because it's not, it's very difficult to have them separate, so I'm going to have to take a few snitch kills and whatnot. So that'll probably be a holding cell eventually, and these will just be the normal cells around it. On the far left of the cells, we'll have 2 laundry rooms, one at the top here and one at the bottom. They'll just be serving, their blocks, half of that and whatnot. I'm going to have a few cleaning cupboards. I'm going to have one here, one here, one here, and one here. 4 in this area here, again, to maximize the amount of prisoners that we can work on at once. Again, I'm not letting prisoners work in the kitchen, given the amount of problems they have with contraband and finding knives and naughty things in there. This kitchen is a bit of an odd layout. I designed it originally to be just this section here, but I did the maths wrong and found that isn't going to support more than about probably 100, or probably about 250 prisoners. So I had to expand it out a little bit more to support more. So, bit of a retarded kitchen, but that's that bit. A bunch of serving tables there, bunch of tables and chairs. That's enough to support the entire prison. We have a little toilet block up the top here. Phones, TVs, that kind of crap. This here will be a shower area, so they can fulfill their needs in there. And they have 3 hours a day, so when they go in there to get fed, they're not going to worry about the showers or the phone or anything else. They're going to go in, get food, eat it, and get out. They're not going to even worry about it. This is the solitary confinement area. There's, how many cells are here? I think it's about 30 something last time I checked. Another cleaning cupboard we put in here, again, to maximize the amount of jobs I can have for prisoners. So there's that. Nice 2-way airlock system to go in and go out. And yeah, that's the majority of the prison done. I'm going to have the same, as I said before, kind of complex water and power systems I did before. So this area here, all the cables are in, that's going to be the yard for the prison. So they won't be able to access any of these pipes or anything at all, but they'll essentially just run straight out into their respected areas. They won't worry about snaking around. They'll just go up, yep, there you go, done, sweet, awesome. And then water will just run the same kind of deal. We'll have pipe valves on this bit here, and then power circuits on this bit here. And then obviously its own power station will run the kitchen. So that one there, and then that will run all the cells, and that will run, I don't know what yet. Probably the canteen and solitary. Whatever's left over, really. Whatever is left over. I plan to use this room in here for an armory if I do get to that point, so at least the prisoners will, or the guards rather, will have some form of protection in here. It is a bit far away from the prison, but that's good in a case, so in case there's a big riot and people start flailing around and stuff like that, I'm at least protected by that kind of distance, so that will work out well in the long run. I have a kennel probably here as well somewhere. Well, we'll figure that out later. Right, well, that's the entire prison. That is it. I've decided with the doorway as well, rather than just have 1 or 2 gates, I've gone for 3 gates as an airlock system. So there's one here, one here, one here, one here, and one here. That's just to minimize the amount of doors to break, really, before my guards will stop prison. So if there is a big, massive riot and they are going to escape, they may get through, you know, this doorway here and they may start breaking a fence. But by then, I would have been able to call in, you know, the riot police and things like that. So by the time they get to this area here, if they break through this entire section, maybe 1 fence, I still have 2 more protecting me. It's a bit overkill, yes, but given the prisoners and what they're doing and, you know, what needs I can satisfy and what I can't, I really am going to need that extra protection. That is number 1. Is that 1 way in, 1 way out kind of deal. Which is why this whole visitation thing, I'm not too fond about. If I can get it working in such a way where I don't need to have the prisoners go in through this doorway here, I could actually make it so they go in through there. And then have like a doorway there. Or something. So there's still 1 way in, but it's far less doors. Yeah, visitation, as I said, is very, very, very late game, if I ever get to that point. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I will leave it here and start building next time. So until then, I will see you all later.